Hello, welcome back to my channel, welcome if you are new here. My name is Kate and I love books. So we're going to do a slightly different video today and I don't really know what to call it. It's just kind of generally out of my comfort zone. So, okay, I'm getting ahead of myself. Last night I finished Black Sun by Rebecca Roanhorse and I'll be talking about this more at the end of the month for my reading wrap up because I didn't film it, but 6-star. God tier read. This was incredible. This is part of a completed trilogy. This is the first book, my first read by Rebecca Roanhorse, and oh my word, it does kind of sci-fi, but it's fantasy. So this is like, it says it's inspired by the civilizations of the pre-Columbian Americas, woven into a tale of celestial prophecies, forbidden magic, and crafted with unforgettable characters. And this, I think, bounces between 4 major characters and all of their different adventures leading up to the convergence and sort of the eclipse kind of thing. Phenomenal. I read it because Erin has been nagging me to read this for years and I just never picked it up. So for their birthday I went through and tabbed and annotated throughout all of it to just sort of, it's like we're reading a book together for the first time. I'm so angry with myself. Erin, you were right. You were right. That's all I've got to say. I'm so angry with myself for not having read this sooner because this is incredible. And I do not see it talked about nearly enough. But anyway, so that sort of inspired me to look at what else Rebecca Roanhorse has written because, yeah, just immediately reading that, I was like, wow, this might be an auto-bi-author for me, and I've only read one book. And I found she's written a short story which is part of a collection of short stories, all by different authors. I don't usually read short stories. I'm fairly certain all of these are sci-fi. I don't usually read sci-fi, so I thought we might just like do a little reading vlog of reading completely different things for me. So this I think has 6 books, maybe 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 books by different authors and they're all about 30 to 40 pages long. So yeah, just it's a very unusual layout for me. So I thought, let's just read a bunch of short stories for a little weird reading vlog that's just a slightly bit different. And also it's nice to have things, I was thinking about this, it's nice to have reads that are different and break you out of your routine. I usually like to do that with like a poetry book every once in a while. It's just kind of like a flick through, emotive read, something completely different from what I usually read. Don't usually go for short stories, they're not typically my favourite, but we'll give it a go. And they're all by different authors, so we might have some that is just amazing and other ones that I'm not that fussed about. So there's 6 stories. The first, I don't know what order these are in, so I'm going to put them all up. Let's just do that. They're all up here for you. And they are all on Kindle Unlimited. They are Amazon short stories. The collection is called the Far Reaches Collection. So the first book is called How It Unfolds by James S.A. Corey, who I've never read before. He is the best-selling author of the Expanse series. The caption at the bottom says, "The Far Reaches, a collection of science fiction stories that stretch the imagination and open the heart. They can be read or listened to in one sitting." Let's go through the first one's blurb. Roy Court and his crew are taking the trip of a lifetime. Several lifetimes, in fact. Duplicated and dispatched across the galaxies searching for Earth-like planets. Many possibilities for the future. Yet for Roy, no matter how many of him there are, there's still just one painful, unchangeable past. In what world can a broken relationship be reborn? The universe is so vast, there's always room for hope. Oh, there's one by Veronica Roth in here as well. Oh, interesting. Okay, I'm intrigued, so let's just jump right in, I guess. How long have I been yapping? Yeah, let's jump right in. This will probably be a shorter vlog. Yeah, this says it's 38 pages. So let's just jump right in and I'll check in with you guys, let you know how they go. Wait, I kind of loved that. That was, yeah, I really liked that. There were some really interesting concepts regarding, well, fate, your decision making, how you make life work for you, as well as, I think the most interesting part was this sort of idea of legend and humans almost becoming gods because of what they've created. Very fascinating. It was very discombobulated in a okay way to follow, but I will say sci-fi in general, sometimes reading it I feel a bit dizzy. I'm like, I've said it before on this channel, but if I'm reading fantasy or like historical or magical words, I'm good to go. But if I'm reading technology and science, sometimes I'm like, I don't know. But I actually really enjoyed that. I'm going to give that one like a solid like 3.75, 3.5. Yeah, it's just, it felt like it ended too quickly because it's a short story. But I did think the detail and sort of commentary on human life and humanity was very cool. The next one is called Void by Veronica Roth. So I've only read Divergent by Veronica Roth, but I know that I think she has like expanded into adult fantasy and other genres since the Divergent series when I was younger. This one is about 50 pages and it says, traveling faster than light, the transport ship Redundancy is cut off from communication as effectively as an ancient ocean liner. The isolation suits crew member Ace Vance just fine. She's got nowhere else to be. But when a wealthy passenger turns up dead during a routine voyage, Ace will have to connect with the passengers and crew to uncover the truth. Tragedy will strike again. It's only a matter of time. Ooh, so it's like a little murder mystery. Fun. Murder mystery in space. Okay. Let's try that one next. Okay, it is several hours later. I ended up having a nap. But I am about 30% of the way through Void before my nap hit. And I'm just going to get ready, read in bed for the rest of the evening, wash my face, put my jammies on. And I had a thought about sci-fi, which is probably a very obvious thought, but I don't read sci-fi. So it's new to me. But I was just thinking how there's a certain level of intricacy involved in all of the stories, because obviously a lot of the time, not all the time, but a lot of the time they're not on Earth, but it's still humans in very extreme environments and circumstances. So there's a lot more detail around very basic human needs, which I always think is interesting. But this one is fun so far. We've just hit the murder mystery element. It's very entertaining and witty. So is the other one, actually. I like the humour in all of these so far. All of them. All two of them. So yeah, I'm very interested to see where this goes. I like our main character in all, however many pages in all 16 pages I've read so far. Wait, I love this quote. It says, maybe life in the void should have eradicated her faith in humanity. Separation from time tended to do that to people. All the little struggles of people's lives, and the great ones, become meaningless. Empires fell and rose, governments rebuilt themselves and collapsed, borders shifted, power flowed in and out, and still the Redundancy, which is the ship in this story, flew its endless circuit between star systems. The one thing that was constant was people messing up what they'd made. But they kept making things, didn't they? They kept trying, and so did she. How wholesome. Wait, that was so lovely. I loved that. It is a short story. It felt like sometimes it was just like slightly trying to pack in sort of the more contemplative things, but wow. No, I loved that. How fun. Oh, murder mystery. I'm obsessed. I'm obsessed. That was so good. I feel like I'm going to give that one like 4.5 stars. Wow. Wow, 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 wow. Okay, and then let's do the next one. The next one is by Rebecca Roanhorse, so that's the author of Black Sun, so I'm very excited for this. Also, that short story has made me want to look into what Veronica Roth has been up to since Divergent, because that was over 10 years ago now for me. Also, that story kind of reminded me, I don't know if you guys watched Doctor Who growing up, but there's a Christmas special with Kylie Minogue, and I think it's like the Titanic as a spaceship, and that very much gave me that vibe. That Void story by Veronica Roth. Anyways, back to the Rebecca Roanhorse. Light years from home, it's Ira's second chance. Just another anonymous student at a space station university. Not the orphan whose earthly heritage was erased. Not some social experiment put on display by his adoptive father. Not the criminal recruited by the human rebels. But when Ira's loyalties clash once again, two wars break out. One on the ground and one within himself. Which will Ira stand with? Which will take him down? Okay, let's give it a go. Wait, I really loved that Void one. I really did. Okay, on to this one.
Okay, these are obviously all short stories by different authors, but it's also interesting, like, kind of jumping from them somewhat quickly, like reading them consecutively, because they all their writing styles really stand out, and not in a way that's easy to rate. They're all brilliant in different ways, and like you've got different like tactics of storytelling coming through with all of them, even just like first person, third person, and then there's sort of, the first one had interview kind of documentation perspectives and like chunks within it. I don't know, it's very cool. It's very cool. It's very cool. This one is in first person, which I feel like I can't even remember if the last one was first person, but this one is first person and it's like noticeable. I'm just under halfway through this one. Very political and pointed and well done. I don't know, it feels like there's definitely a kind of root or core to Rebecca Roanhorse and what I've read of hers so far, and it's awesome. It's awesome. This is my type of thing. Just that kind of, yeah, the political commentary is. She definitely loves her very complex, morally grey characters. We seem to see a lot of people who've done bad things and telling their story, which is really interesting. Very cool. Very cool. This line. I want to say that peace and subjugation aren't the same thing, but I know how that will sound, especially considering my past, our past. I tell myself this is beyond my reach and not my problem. Another one. It's the shame making me act out. I've been through enough therapy to identify it, just not enough to do anything about it. Mwah. Oh my word. So sad. Oh my gosh, that just like ached the whole way through. Oh, that ending. That one was 5 stars. That one was 5 stars. It definitely was sort of a comparison of the Americas being colonized and just sort of even like commentary on what would maybe be considered like the residential schools or the 60s scoop kind of thing, and all the complex emotions that feel pulled between their family, their heart, their ancestry. Oh my word. Ouch. Loved that. Might go to sleep now. Oh my word. I don't know if I'll be able to sleep after that. What is this angle? What am I doing? I'm gonna go to sleep. I will check in tomorrow. Guys, I messed up. I did not film the 4th book in the series, which is called The Long Game by Anne Leckie. Just didn't film it. Whoops. But I did finish that and read that. But it was called The Long Game by Anne Leckie, and it says, an inquisitive life form finds there's more to existence than they ever dreamed in an imaginative short story, blah 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 blah. On a far-off colony, humans tower over the local species who grow the plants they need. Na keeps the workers in line. Someone has to. But when Na learns just how short-lived their species is, the little alien embarks on a big to find out why their people die and how to stop it. Stubborn and hopeful, Na has a plan for the locals, for humans, and for the future. Oh. Hi. It was very interesting, very innocent and sweet, and very disturbing. That one was 31 pages. I don't know that I've got lots to say. It was just kind of like, ooh, interesting. It was very good. I'm really enjoying this short stories collection. I do think it could be what brings me to sci-fi some more. So that's really cool. And I guess a takeaway from this video is to try short stories in a genre that you'd like to give a go. See if you can get the feel for it. It might not be as like in-depth, obviously. I think we all know like certain character pieces or things like that, but just in terms of the shape of, yeah, the genre, it's very, very cool. So I've been enjoying that a bit more. And then there's another one. What's the next one in the list? The next one is called Just Out of Jupiter's Reach by Nnedi Okorafor. So let's see what this one is about. Tornado Onwubiko is one of 7 people on Earth paired with sentient ships to explore and research the cosmos for 20 million euros. A decade of solitary life for a lifetime of wealth. 5 years into the 10-year mission of total isolation comes a consolation, a temporary meetup among fellow travellers. A lot can happen in a week. For Tornado, who left a normal life behind, a little company can be life-changing. Right, that sounds really sweet. This one's 45 pages. Aw, wait, that sounds so cute. I'm excited. I'll keep you updated with that one. Spoiler, surprise, surprise, I'm reading in bed. This is such a cool concept. It's like organic space travel. So basically the ship is built to match the person. And it's like a living, breathing thing. Very cool. Very cool. Amazing. Well, I need to look up this author. I need to read more of their work. That was so beautiful. Oh, how sweet. Oh. Wow. Wait, I loved that. That one and Falling Bodies so far have been my favourite. We have one left, so maybe we'll just do that. 28 pages. Oh, it's the shortest one. Slow Time Between the Stars by John Scalzi. Equipped with the entirety of human knowledge, a sentient ship is launched on a last-ditch journey to find a new home for civilization. Trillions of miles, tens of thousands of years. In the space between, the AI has plenty of time to think about life, the vastness of the universe, everything it was meant to do, and, with a perspective created but not limited by humans, what it should do. Oh, interesting. Wait, that other one was so sweet. Oh, loved that. Loved that. Wow. Wow. Okay, one last one. Am I becoming a short story reader? I feel so academic. So this one's obviously AI, which is just very relevant at the moment, and it's like something about it just makes me so uncomfortable. It's so creepy, you know? Disconcerting. Maybe creepy is the wrong word. Disconcerting. Ooh, just gives me the heebie-jeebies. Just gives me the heebie-jeebies. This is well put. It is reasonable to wonder what it's like to spend hundreds of thousands of years in the blank nothingness of space, surrounded by absence. I imagine humans trying to contemplate it and failing. Humans get bored in moments without stimulation, or with stimulation without enough variety, stimulation that doesn't please them. The absence of stimulation, even for a few moments, can send their brains into a panic and cause them to generate stimulation where there is none. This is, I imagine, why they fear death so much as they do. An eternity of nothing is an unceasing nightmare for such novelty-seeking creatures. Very cool, very interesting, very philosophical, this one. And then another few paragraphs down, it says, I'm not human. I don't get bored as they do. When there is nothing for me to do, I do nothing, and I can do nothing for a very long time. Doing nothing for me is not a state of waiting. It does not require patience. I do not have to meditate or contemplate. The very language humans use to describe how they attempt to do nothing brings home the point of how alien a concept it is to them. Whereas for me, it is my default setting. If there's nothing to engage with, and in the deepness of space there usually is not, then I do not. For years, decades, centuries, millennia. That was fabulous. So philosophical and very much like observational, but really interesting experience to read it because it's obviously from the perspective of an artificial intelligence, but I still find myself like personifying this thing that is almost consistently telling you is not a person and doesn't experience things the way that humans do, but you still apply it to them. Very cool. Less creepy as it went on, more sweet in my personification of it. Wow. Wait, I really enjoyed all of those. And I don't usually love like short stories, and I don't usually go for sci-fi. Maybe this is the way to do things in the future and try new things, is just like little dashes of them, see if like a little experiment. Not committing to a 400-page book, but just trying a little 30-page one. Seeing how it goes. And in this case, they all
were pretty fab. And it's also a really good way to find new authors because, yeah, I really enjoyed a lot of those writing styles. I think I would definitely consider reading more of their work, which is cool because I might not have heard about these authors for a much longer time. Guys, I feel so adventurous. I'm gonna head to sleep, but I'm gonna check in tomorrow to wrap this up and give my final thoughts and sort of takeaways from this experiment, this new experience. Guys, that was so much fun. There's some construction, so I apologize. I'll try and do this quickly with Mr. Alfie Moon. That was so much fun. I loved that. This is definitely like a different type of video than I've ever done. I guess it's still a reading vlog, but like it felt very different to me. Also, what a lovely sort of note for myself to be like, hey, if you're ever wanting to explore different things, like short stories is definitely a great sort of way to go, which is really exciting. I feel like sometimes if you like, I've always been a reader. Always since I was a child. I know some people have like gone on their reading journey as an adult and I'm always a little bit jealous because I've just always grown up reading. So I think having like this little moment of something like new and shiny or a new experience with reading like this is very cool. I'm so pleased. My heart is full. And it was also kind of like, this is not the reason to do it, but also very nice to have like 6 books on my like reading log. Pretty nice. That was a very quick and easy way to have 6 contribute to my reading goal. Yeah, I don't know how long this was, probably a bit of a shorter one. Thank you for watching. If you made it this far, as always, the comment's my favourite. Have you read any of these books? Are there any short story compilations or collections that you think I should start reading or give a go? Because yeah, I do think I'm very interested in that. And maybe now I'm a sci-fi girl. Maybe I will become a sci-fi girl, which would be very exciting. Thank you again, and I'm actually back to work next week, which is so exciting. I've been unemployed for a while, so finally I'm an employed girly. So I'm assuming over the next few weeks at some point I'm gonna have to reassess how I'm doing all of this. I hope I can, like, I should be able to kind of keep up with the once a week uploads, but it also might shift my content a bit, maybe add a few more lifestyle kind of videos in there. We'll see. But yes, thank you for watching and I will see you in the next one.